Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show. The process of sexual activity is meant to be pleasurable,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
And that pleasure happens because of pleasure-based nervous pathways,
That's right.
right? So if you're in the act of sex, your penis is sending back a pleasure-based signal to your brain that this is good, do it. Now that's nature's way of procreation, so that you
That's right.
create kids. And of course, then people use sex as recreation also for the same reason. My question is, why aren't nerves like that present in your hands?
Hmm.
Okay, or maybe the other question I want to ask is, you know how, okay, comparing it to the female body, girls have more pleasurable
Points.
points. Guys usually just have one, but the truth is, and we had a sexologist also on the show long ago. She said that actually even guys have pleasurable points, but lots of men don't even know that certain points are pleasurable because they've not explored it sexually. Now, I'm actually asking you this both from a sex perspective and a biology perspective. So the same pleasure-based nervous pathways that are present in the penis, are they also present on, say, your back, your earlobes, your neck?
Yes.
And it's different for different men, like based on their biology. That's why
It is.
being loved in those points gives you pleasure.
See, if you look at a sensation, there are various sensations which we are taught as MBBS students. So
Sure.
there is a touch, pain, temperature, vibration. These are the pressure. These are the 5 sensations that the nerves are supposed to take. Touch is a sensation which can be always pleasurable unless it is a rough touch. So we are talking about touch. We are not talking about pressure, pain, or pinch or something. So it is about your brain being wired. For example, I'll give you an example. So when you are with your loved ones and she's touching you, wherever she touches you, it is going to give you pleasure. Whereas, suppose you are standing in a crowded place and somebody touches you, you may just slap him. The touch remains the same. It is about the wiring and the final interpretation in our cerebral cortex.
Right.
Because the touch is going to go into the cerebral cortex for processing. And after the processing, the brain decides, or your psyche or your wiring decides how to react to it. You can derive pleasure out of it, or you can, derive offense out of it and react accordingly. So somebody rightly said, whatever you mentioned was right, that the male nipples are actually more pleasurable than the female nipples.
As in, male bodies derive more pleasure from the nipples being stimulated than
That's
female.
right. That's right. So it is only that women don't know, so they don't do it, and men, they're hardly bothered because they're bothered more about procreation. They're wired that way.
I think for men and women, at least what I've understood based on all the people we've had on the show and conversations with friends, I think sex is very different as an activity. I think
Yes.
for a lot of men, it's just about the final result. It's just about the final orgasm, and both for themselves and their partners. Like there are guys who actually care about the partner's orgasm also, and who prioritize that in sex. Often girls will say that these are the best kind of male sex partners.
Yeah.
But the actual fundamental key difference is for men, sex is about the orgasms, theirs and their partners. But for women, it's about the whole process. They
That's
care about even like the conversation you have before the sex. The whole process is prioritized much more than the final orgasm.
That's absolutely right.
But there must be some biology in this also.
Of course.
Like in terms of, I would just assume either girls are more in sync with their own nervous system, or girls have more nerve endings. Like they say the olfactory system of a woman is much more developed. That's why they can smell perfumes like much more deeply, and they can pick up on scents much more easily. But I'm sure this spreads across the body. There's got to be some biology.
Yes. So you've asked so many questions in one statement.
Yeah.
I need to answer each of them.
Go
Sorry,
Take
I'm
your time.
called a professor, so I'm supposed to dissect out each statement
Go for
each
it.
way and go for it.
Go for it, sir.
So first thing you said is that it is the behavior which is different from men and women. If you go back to, say, thousands of years, in the cave era, men were supposed to go hunting. It would take 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, 7 days, but they would come back with a bounty. They would give it to the woman. Woman would divide it amongst the children and make sure that the neighboring woman's child doesn't come and eat that. That is how the cave was. Men needed to procreate. They had little time at home. So they would procreate. So men are wired to have sex quickly, ejaculate, and go, finish. Women, on the other hand, imagine her man is away for a hunt. If she's easily stimulated into sexual activity, there will be so many men who can come and do that to her. So as a protective thing, these women are wired in such a manner that they need to be stimulated at more than one center, maybe multiple centers before they are ready for sex.
So, and biologically, does this mean more nerve endings in other body parts?
That's right. So they're all together. Only then she would want somebody to have sex. For example, if you understand what a quickie means, a man is always ready for a quickie. But the woman would resist.
And it actually boils down to the nervous system.
Yes. And the reason why that is like that, I've just told you the reason why. It is difficult to get a woman to sex for that reason. Because she needs to be wired. The ambience should be good. If there is dirt around, or the house is in disorder, or it is smelling bad, as you mentioned, olfactory, eye, ear, everything. Only then a woman would be ready for sex. That is why you have to woo a woman. Because that is the biology of a woman.
If you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.